Thing I wanted to talk about, I've noticed is specifically with the Time Warner digital cable. I mean, it's not so noticeable on the analog, but you definitely see it breaks up for our channel. It pauses, it reboots, it does its own special thing. And I just want everyone to know that if you don't watch, you can watch the bulletin board for Channel 5 or contact one of the other stations person, and they can get you some information. But basically, there's a number you can call. You can call Time Warner customer service, and if they get a bunch of requests, then maybe they might actually fix it. But until they get a bunch of requests, they're probably not going to fix it. So you'll continue to see your audio breaking up, your video breaking up, and you'll see all this happening, and there's nothing you can do about it. I know my grandmother has so much fun. She can be in there watching TV, and we're out watching it in her front room or something, and all of a sudden our TV goes bye-bye. And she says, what happened? But if you call 1-866-668-6044, and I'll give this number to Reed so he can tell people later. But if you call that number, that's customer service, and if they get enough complaints, I am absolutely sure they might actually change this. You never know, though. I'll let you go back to Reed.
Okay, great. Yeah, the cable system, I don't know, this is Time Warner. Yeah, hey, Chris, they just axed a whole bunch of people down there in Jamestown, did they? They went bye-bye suddenly overnight. But that's interesting. Okay, maybe they're responsible for the interruption in our service, the blackouts and the lapses and the sound cracking and everything, whatever. It sounds like a bad cell phone sometimes. Come on, guys, you can fix that, I know, and let's go for it. You have a pretty good system usually. Okay, enough of that. We have a guest, Dan Schrantz, and he's not sure he's ever going to get on, but I'm telling you, we will get him on. He's going to talk a little bit about some of the local happenings around here, and he is the town supervisor of Portland, so he's in the swim. He knows what's going on, and I'm going to just turn it over to you, Dan. I want to say good morning.
Good morning, Reed. Thank you for inviting me to your show today.
Well, tell me something. Where do you come from originally?
Originally, I came from Dunkard and moved up on...
So you're a local boy? Huh?
Yeah. Moved on Webster Road in the town of Portland when I was about 5 years old. And since then, I've been a Portland resident my whole life and been involved with the fire department for over 38 years. Town supervisor for the past 6 years, along with 12 years as a town councilman, and a couple terms as a village trustee. So
you married?
Yes, I'm married to former Debbie Zangi, and have 2 children.
What are your children?
One's right in Portland, and one moved to Dunkard.
That's great.
With 3 grandchildren.
So you're all set over there now. You still live up on Webster Road?
No, I live right in the village of Bracton, next to Star Apartments, and been there for 38 years, I guess.
You must like it there.
Yeah, I really enjoy the village of Bracton, town of Portland, and Chautauqua County. And
it's a hell of a nice place to live. I can only say that people are missing out on a lot, but I hate to send the message down to New York because they'll all come up here. I don't need them.
Right.
I'm happy.
We did make a trip down to Myrtle Beach to make sure there still is a sun, and there is, and today is another example.
Did you play golf on one of the 140 golf courses they have there?
No, actually I went down to watch my grandson play baseball, and it was an enjoyable trip.
The last time I was down there, I was down on a week-long golf trip with some friends, and I got a call at 2 o'clock in the morning on the second day of the outing. And we were in this beautiful hotel. They have those twin hotels on the beach, the east and west side. And my daughter had an accident, serious auto accident.
So really?
That ended that. We jumped in the car and headed home.
Yeah.
But she's fine now. And,
well, that's good.
And actually, a brain surgeon had called me and said, your daughter's been severely traumatized. She has a major head injury. I need permission to do surgery. I said, why are you asking me, for God's sake?
Wow.
Do it, you know. You wonder why.
Exactly.
I've got to give you permission. Just do it if she needs it, you know. And she did, and she came out fine. Okay, Dan, what's the size of your territory, your turf up there?
Well, I thought I'd talk a little bit about, we have over a $2 million project going on right now with the new water district. It's
that'll cover the whole area?
It's Water District 7. It's a continuation from Pecor Street on Route 5, along Route 5, 1 mile past Walker Road, and then up Walker Road, under the thruway, under the railroad, and tie in on Route 20 to our other water district, Water District 1.
So the whole village will have water, I mean, the whole
Well,
town.
a lot more of the town will have water.
Well, I know the Portland, so-called Portland, what is that, Hamlet Town?
The Hamlet, right in.
Hamlet.
Right. That was the very first water district, Water District 1.
Uh-huh.
And that's been there a lot of years. And we're up to 7 water districts in the town, which with over 700 customers once this one's completed. And we've been very successful getting grant funding from Rural Development, ARC, which is Appalachian Regional Commission, and that with this $2 million project, $1 million of it is received in grants from those 2 funding agencies. It's been a long process. It will provide water to 100 new customers in that area and open up a lot of land within the township for a new building.
Okay. So it looks like you're going to have some major improvements coming on. You have sewage, don't you, pretty much?
We have the sewage in the village of Brockton, nothing in the town at this point.
But the hamlet of Portland, I know it has sewage, at least part of it.
Actually, the hamlet doesn't have sewage, just septic
really?
systems, yeah.
I thought they were getting sewage.
The big thing is if you can provide water, you can put septic systems in. The water from, unfortunately, the water along the thruway to the Lake Erie, which you would think there'd be plenty of water there, has very little water, and the water that is there is very poor quality. So we've been pretty much fortunate. We have water pretty close to the whole area along the thruway to Lake Erie now.
Well, when I was younger, we lived right on Lake Erie, where the Sugar Shack is in Westfield.
Okay.
Now. And we had a well probably that was within, I don't know, 150, 200 yards of the lake itself, and it ran dry all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And we drilled a new well too. In the middle of the winter, I still remember taking a shower, swoosh, 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 and suddenly there's no water.
Yes.
You had to take a fast shower, the military shower, you know, quick soap up and a quick rinse and get out.
Yeah, we grew up, where I grew up on Webster Road, we had very little water. The water we had was very good, but very little. So I'm well aware of people that really don't have water and how important it is to have that service.
Yeah, especially soft water.
Yes.
Boy, the water we got down there was so full of stuff that literally clogged the pipes before you knew it.
Yeah.
You know, we used to have those those machines down in the cellar. They had a tank on it and everything, and it softened the water. And every once in a while, the whatchamacallit man would come and he'd give you some more softener.
The Culligan man.
Culligan man, right. Hey, Culligan man. So we're talking with Dan Schrantz. He's the supervisor over in the town of Portland. And tell me, how's your residential situation there? Are people moving in or out?
Well, actually, the last census that just came out, we took quite a hit. And a lot of it was they had the prison involved with the census. So it looks like we took the worst hit in the county, but it was due to the prison. They quit counting the population of the prison. So
why, they dropped the guards or something, or what?
Well, they actually stopped counting the prisoners as residents of the town. So,
oh, I see.
So we did lose that, and. You know, we've lost, the whole Stock County has lost
lots of money.
A lot of residents.
Well, I had the mayor of Mayville on recently, Marty Bova, and one of the major points he made is that the state is basically what they're doing is, well, everybody's making these points, not just Marty, but what they've done is they've cut back on services and taxes. But basically, sure, the states, of course, they rose 25%, but they're telling us they're cutting the taxes. There's another governmental nonsense. But in the meantime, he says what they did was, one of the cute tricks is they recalibrated categorized their summer programs where you have the kids, you know, you have a little gathering over the Welch Field or whatever the field is, and they play games and do crafts. Well, now they're all camps. And under the camp category, they have all kinds of regulations. They got to have a physician or somebody on charge. All the counselors can't be the kids they used to have before. Now they got to be, well, some of them have to have a 4-year college degree and 3 years experience. So it reaches a point where it's prohibitive. You can't run these programs anymore.
Yes, it's harder and harder to offer the programs you would like to offer to other people, and they're just passing more and more down to the local government. Fortunately, it seems like the local government always comes through, and we've held the tax base in the town of Portland the last 4 years to 0% increase, and I see the village of Brockton again this year is a 0%, so that's 4 years they've done it. So local government seems to try to handle the situation as far as the village and town governments. We just need at the state level to start cutting programs. You can't just shift the tax burden from a tax increase or a fee put on another item. That's really not eliminating the taxes. Just moving a fee,
Shifting them.
just shifting it around instead of, you got to start reducing programs to handle this situation. And it looks like the governor is on the way to do that, and I wish him all the luck because he's got quite a job to do up there.
Well, I had our state senator on, and somehow we got swallowed up by the programming and calls, so we had a lot of calls. One of the things that we touched on was the fact that the governor's pointed out he's saving, I don't know, $2 billion or something in Medicare, and the question, or Medicaid, and the question is, where's he saving this? He's, you know, he's telling us how you're getting all these wonderful things, but what are they taking away? They just don't tell you that. You know, how many more people are going to be thrown to the wolves? That's the way it's going.
Yeah, that's the problem, and I did want to touch a little bit on the problem with the fire departments right now is we can't say enough about the volunteers that operate these volunteer fire departments, but more and more younger people are not coming forward to step into the roles. And part of this problem, I believe, is they keep adding more and more training hours to become a volunteer fire department, which is good, but you need those people in that door first, and then as they get experienced and they want to become move up the ranks, then give them the training. But we seem to turn a young person off before they even walk through the door. A biggest percentage of the fire department's calls are first aid, and like in Brockton and the town of Portland.
90%, that's a lot. I mean, almost all of them.
So, and you can't roll the ambulance no more without an EMT on board, which, you know, those ambulances have to sit until we get an EMT, and it's very unfortunate. Years ago when I was first in the fire department, you could roll an ambulance with a first aid and a driver, and get the person in the ambulance, get them to the hospital. Fortunately around here, well, the town of Portland and village of Brockton, we could go either way, which is 8 miles. Sometimes we could have them there to the point now where they're still waiting for an EMT to get there. So I don't know, it's a toss-up. I think it's time, and this is throughout the whole state of New York, it's time for some type of commission of local grassroots firemen to get together and try to solve this problem.
Well, I do know for a fact that late at night when there's a call, we'll call out Portland and Brockton. You're called out together now,
right?
For an EMT, and we still don't get one. And Westfield hasn't got one. Well, we're very blessed. We have a lot of EMTs. We have about over a dozen, I know, and so we can usually scramble somebody up. But yeah, that's a big holdup now. Well, it's too bad they're going to die because there's no EMT there, so they can whip them to the hospital where they can save them. I mean, it's insanity.
Yes.
And of course, the fire department is really, well, I'll give you an example, Dan. Back, say, 30 years ago, or 40 years ago, whatever, Westfield's been in existence since the late 1800s, I might add. But back then, you had 76 members of our fire department, and we had a waiting list of about 50. Today, we have about 40 some odd fire department men,